And we are back. Once again, apologies, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like some technical difficulties coming into play. But in the box, still with me is Janneman. Janneman, for that little bit of downtime, 9 laps missed. Morgan McCall up into first place. Tobias Reaper in second place. Daniel Rowe in third place. So far, some really good positions there. Daniel Rowe moving up, Tobias moving up, Mayer down into 4th place, Gideon Rayner a little bit further back from everyone, Dean Kabasa down in 6th place at the moment.
It's honestly, it's looking like it's going to be another close race, Stephen.
It's going to be a super close race, and once again, humbly apologize to everyone out there as we getting guys coming back and taking a look. Big welcome to everyone. So, with 28 minutes to go, it is still on the cards for everyone. A little bit further down, though, taking a look, Bernard Rayner is in a bit of a tow. He's going after Bertus Hugo, and not too far behind is Duplessis trying to chase him down.
Steve, don't want to put you on the spot, but can you just give me some visual, please?
Do apologize about that.
I'm flying a bit blind at the moment. Thank you.
There we go. Do apologize about that. Frantic, get things going. Alright, so still in a bit of a charge. Bernard Rayner going after Bertus Hugo as they chase each other down, hoping to get one up on everyone. And you can see a little bit of spacing starting to form between themselves. That battle and Duplessis. A little bit further back though, Christopher Radloff in a bit of a battle with Ryan Ottens and Tariq Adam chasing him down. These three have been slugging it out for the championship, doing whatever they can here at Zandvoort, and some very close racing between them in the M2s. So the guys are having a huge amount of fun for our M2s. Taking a look, Bernard Rayner now looking to go on the attack to Bertus Hugo. Has to get climbing onto the anchors. Now, you drove the Aston Martin on Monday night, and you got to see what the guys who get to feel these front engine very heavy vehicles as they maneuver their way around the system.
Yeah, if the setup on the Aston is not right, you struggle with a lot of understeer. And I did not do a lot of setup work on Monday evening, before Monday evening's race, and I definitely paid the price for it. And it definitely hurt those front tires, and as I said before, that left front tire definitely got hurt during the course of that race.
It's turning into a bit of a monstrous battle. As you can see, Mac van der Merwe getting on to the back of Justin Lotus. Skuman chasing him down. Skuman in the big BMW, hoping to get ahead of the more agile Audi as they go and fight their way around the course. And it's going to be a massive race between these three by the looks of it. But with no room for error, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, especially the sector they're going through or going into now. I think that mid-engine car Van der Merwe might have an upper hand over the front-engine BMWs, because this is a very tight and twisty section. Short straight coming up now, but then you go into those last couple of corners, Steve, that very sharp right-hander, and then immediately that hairpin after that.
So where is going to be the perfect opportunity for Skuman to try and get by? Tries to close down, go a little bit later on the brakes, a little bit too deep, I think, and that's cost him a little bit of drive, but it does look like Mac van der Merwe's lost a bit of drive getting into the dirt there, so it is going to be a monstrous little battle as he has to try and slug his way around the course. Mac van der Merwe hanging on to that top 10 at the moment, going after Justin Lotus, but not having too much room. Then you got the likes of Oosthuizen, Dean Kubasa, and Gideon Rayner all slugging out between each other. So we're getting these three-way trains as they start moving their way around, which is absolutely amazing. But a little bit further down, we do have a bit of a three-way train, but it seems like it's opening up a little bit of our Genisus Sim2Real cars just going and maneuvering their way around the course, waiting for the GT3s to come into play. And I think that's where it's going to get interesting. Soon as these guys have to start trying to figure out how to get past the TCRX cars, it's going to be a difficult situation for both parties.
Yeah, especially, there's a couple of places on the Zandvoort track where passing them is not going to be possible. So they'll have to sit behind them and, just be patient until you can get the pass done. But as we know, these GT3 cars are also they are in their own battle, and as we see them closing up on some of the BMWs, and it's actually this little section that I'm talking about. If you catch up to a BMW through here, you'll have to sit behind it until you can get past it before the next corner.
Well, as you can see, starting to maneuver their way around. Kitty and Rainer managing to get by without a hitch. It seems like Dean Kabasa and the crowd managing to just get ahead of one of our Genisus Sim2Real cars. Nicholas Manuel pushing a little bit too hard there as he goes and clips the dirt. Now looking for the inside line, just baiting it a little bit, just going and showing his nose. Peter Oosthuizen having to check that right-hand mirror, trying to figure out, is he going to go for it? Isn't he going to go for it? I mean, this is always a very, very tough game. Back down to our M2s. Ryan Ottens onto the back of Christopher Radloff, still just trying to push him around, hoping that they can make a move on one another.
I mean, it's actually good to see those front three M2s running so close together. If you remember the last race, they were pretty spread out, and it became a lonely race for some of them. But looking at those liveries, those are the top three in the championship duking it out there.
And all with the prize of a season's drive in a Toyota Yaris GS. So it is going to be something very interesting to go for a prize like that. I think it's going to be one that you have to keep an eye on, and I look forward to seeing who's going to win it. But keeping an eye on this battle, Peter Oosthuizen's now got Nicholas Manuel all over him. So it's now a little bit of a four-horse race for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th place. As it looks like, no, that is 5th place. So it's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, all 9th a little bit further back. So, and he is getting chased down by Mac van der Merwe, Werner Schoeman in 11th place. So going through the grid of who's where, Morgan McCall up into 1st place. He's trying to make his way through our front three of the BMW M2s, and these TC are X-Class cars, and that has allowed the likes of Christopher Radloff to get right onto the back of Ryan Ottens. Both teammates, but both now looking to go for the ultimate prize. 2nd place is Tobias Reaper, followed by Daniel Rowe in 3rd place. Henry Mayer down in 4th place. He's also trying to carve his way through. Gideon Rayner down in 5th place. Dean Kabasa chasing him down. Peter Oosthuizen, Nicholas Manuel, Justin Lotus, and Mac van der Merwe rounding out our top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, Morgan has opened up a bit of a gap there in the front, but I see even Reaper over Daniel Rowe, there's almost a 6-second gap. So at the front of the field, the top three at this stage running away with it a bit, because I see the gap behind.
Oosthuizen getting a tank slapper and sliding around. That's cost him a bit of time. Allowed Nicholas Manuel to get on him. Oh, contact between himself and one of the M2s. And it looks like Dean Kabasa also getting boxed in a little bit there as it slows him up ever so slightly. That is between Michael Leroux and Christian Esterhaus that he got caught up in the little racket, and now having to try and get past a little bit further back. Though it looks like the battle, Tariq Adam going on to the back of Christopher Radloff. I mean, take a look at these 0.3. All you need is someone to get close. Michael Leroux after Christian Esterhaus, who's having to try and deal with the M4 BMW, or M4 GT3 BMW. It looks like Mac van der Merwe getting all kinds of out of shape there. So
he almost involuntarily moved into the pits.
I got a little bit too excited. WT Bertha getting onto the back of them, hoping to try and chase him down. So little battles coming into play in both classes, but it looks like Christian Esterhaus managing to get ahead of Michael Leroux, and Kirk Gloshkin trying to chase him down as well. So just a bit showing there. Hansi Meyerberg looks like he's come into contact with one of the M2s, and that's Jason McGregor as well, that's landed off in the dirt. So one of the little BMW M2s unfortunately having an issue there. Bertus Hugo, who is chasing down Bernard Rayner, trying to carve his way around these cars, and it's definitely not an easy thing to do. because of just the sheer speed you're catching up to the cars and having to just deal with it. It looks like Dean Kabasa, though, who's actually fallen way down. Dean Kabasa down into 12th place, going and biting the dirt. That's allowed Bertha to get by, Schoeman to get by, Mac van der Merwe, who's at the moment trying to hold Schoeman at bay. Nicholas Manuel looking to go side by side with Peter Oosthuizen. This is 6th and 7th, and you can see no love lost between the two of them. If it's all about sharing paint, they're going to do so.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you know, this race got life. We were talking about the top guys, you know, having a bit of a gap over the rest of the field, but the rest of the field, they are getting it on, especially Manuel Oosthuizen, you know, behind them the likes of Justin Lotus. And as you can see, those GT3 cars all mixed together with the M2s. And we see Manuel trying to box in Oosthuizen there and using that M2 to his advantage, but not succeeding at that corner.
That's going to be a difficult one, just trying to get the nose around. It is just all about... Ooh, it looks like Justin Lotus going and hitting the wall, braking a little bit too late there. That's allowed Mac van der Merwe to come onto the back of him and Schoeman. So just one mistake, out braking yourself, rubbing the wall, and you can see a little bit of just going and nudging each other, just saying we're coming through. Schoeman getting a little bit wild behind them. Mac van der Merwe trying to go on the outside, get boxed in, and that has allowed Schoeman to get behind. Ooh, contact, but managed to hold it. Oh! Bertha being the little bit of a pin in that one. And unfortunately, there was nowhere to go for WT Bertha. Unfortunately, Mac van der Merwe was sideways. That filled up the circuit, and Game-O, that was all she said.
Yeah, I wanted initially to say well held, but that was after the first contact. It was well done keeping that Audi under control, but and it went quickly downhill from there. That's all that I'm going to say about that one.
It's a bit unfortunate, but there is some people that are going to be rather happy with that. Musa getting by, he's getting chased down by Bertha now, so we haven't spoken about Musa at the moment. Been doing rather well since his RaceFace debut. Werner Schoeman a little bit further up, going after Justin Lotus, 0.4 of a second behind. Our leaders seem to be reasonably split out. I mean, you take a look, Morgan McCall 7.3 seconds ahead of Tobias Reaper. Daniel Rowe 10.6 seconds behind. He's getting chased down by Henry Mayer, and that tells you the front end, when there's a bit of air, you can start running away from all these battles.
Yeah, and it's strange to see Daniel Rowe that far behind in third place. Obviously we don't know what happened in the beginning of the race, but I think he's going to try and close that gap to Reaper, but time's running out. 16 minutes left with a 10-second gap in front of you. That's going to take some doing and maybe a little bit of luck also involved. But the rest of the field, as we look at Lotus and Schoeman battling it out, I mean, there's no gap there, Stephen.
Yeah, and just up the road, they're seeing this little battle, which is Nicholas Manuel going after like of Oosthuizen and Justin Lotus, and Schoeman are going at each other. I mean, you can see a battle ahead. You want to try and close down on it as quick as possible. When you're in the case of Peter Oosthuizen, where you got Nicholas Manuel behind you and you know there's a secondary battle, you want to try and get away from the guys as quick as possible. You don't want to hang around. You want to just try to put your foot down and leave the rest of the field. How's it, Kalen Mawa? Thank you very much for joining. Please share far and wide. And once again, from my side, I do humbly apologize for the technical difficulties in the beginning of the race.
Yeah, we're still not quite sure what happened there, but moving on to the racing, Steve, a battle like this, you're actually slowing yourself down. You were spoken that Oosthuizen was, should try and pull away, but if he's going to keep on battling like this with Manuel and being unable to pull away, that's going to allow, the likes of Lotus and Schoeman to close right back on them.
And it looks like they've opened up a fair gap, 4.9 seconds, but it takes one mistake, and as we know, Zandvoort is one of these circuits that you can make a horrible mistake with the smallest of moves, because you've got such a fine line. You take a look at how much of the rubber that's lying left and right of the circuit, that if you put a wheel onto that stuff, into the marbles, you are done and dusted. That tail will step out from underneath you. You're going farming, and I'm sure this is not the place you want to go farming.
Now, especially this section they go through now, very easy to run wide through that first right-handed, and I actually did it on Monday evening. You know, you misjudge that corner just a little bit and put a wheel on the left-hand grass, and there's no recovering from that.
That's it, and it is turning into a thing. Well, let's go a little bit further down. Let's take a look at our Genisus Sim2Real class. So let's open up a little bit. Ryan Ottens has got himself a substantial lead over Christopher Radloff, with Tariq Adam in third place chasing him down, hoping to get a little bit more of a run up to him. So it is going to be one exciting run up to the line.
Yeah, as I said previously, it's nice to see the top guys in the championship battling out. You know, likes of Ryan Ottens, Christopher Radloff, as we see on screen, Tariq Adams. Time starting to run out slowly. 13 minutes left. So if moves, or if you want to make a move, you know, the time's running out. You'll have to start thinking about where you're going to make that move.
That's it. We're 13 and a half minutes left of the race. You know, this is when your crew chief is busy shouting in your ear saying, listen, you got to step it up, you got to get going.
Yeah, the other thing, there's a couple of second-hand cars on the grid. I mean, looking at that BMW of Skuman, definitely some front-end damage. Being a sprint race, you know, he's electing to stay out, just drive with that damage, because a pit stop is just going to cost you too much time. As we look at the Audi of Peter Oosthuizen, I mean, there's also a couple of scratches on that one, so it just shows it has been in a race, in case you don't know.
That's the one thing you've got to keep an eye on. And it is going to be a monstrous battle.
Yeah, I mean, with 12 minutes left on the clock, Oosthuizen still battling it out with manual, but it does look like they've closed the gap to, is it Renner that in front of them? Yep, Renner running in front of them, so, you know, they closing up that gap, and that's very quickly, looks like it's very quickly going to be a three-way battle.
It's all or nothing at this point for every single one of these drivers having to try and climb their way up to the top. It is going to be a bit of a monstrous one. Oosthuizen getting onto the back of Gideon Rayner with the likes of Nicholas Manuel chasing him down. But I'm going to have to be the bearer of bad news. It does look like my inverter has decided that it's running out of juice. And I don't think I'm going to be able to play until the end of this race, despite all the action that's going on.
Oh, that is some bad news. Well, let's see how long she's willing to be with us. Maybe we can still make it, or do you doubt that one?
Let's try it out. Peter Oosthuizen going after Gideon Rayner with Nicholas Manuel trying to chase him down, hoping to just lay enough pressure onto the back of him as they boot their way around the circuit. It's all or nothing for these drivers, with Nicholas Manuel right behind him. Peter Oosthuizen having to go defensive, holding that tighter inside line. Gideon Rayner trying to get onto a little bit more drive and get around these guys. It is turning into a monstrous fight for 5th, 6th and 7th place at the moment as they slug their way around the course.
Yeah, Manuel's definitely got his eyes set on 5th place. He wants to get past Oosthuizen and then go after Renner. On the start of this lap, we saw him actually having a look on the inside there of Oosthuizen, but couldn't make it stick. I think as a close up to one of the M2s again, he's trying to utilize that slipstream, then pop back into the slipstream as we see Oosthuizen and Renner going side by side there. Manuel again having a look on the inside. So yet again can't make the move stick.
Try as they might, but Gideon Rayner has got his arms out, defending like no tomorrow at this point, hoping for dear life to hold on to this 5th place, to maximize points. Oosthuizen trying to now go a little bit more defensive with Nicholas Manuel all chasing him down, hoping that maybe, just maybe, he will be able to get the jump on everyone.
Yeah, as you said, just under 10 minutes to go now, and Oosthuizen, he is glued to the back of that Audi in front of Renner's rear wing, and as they make their way through the twisty bits, this track, or this part of the track they're going through now, not very easy to pass on. There's a small little straight that comes up, but he's actually dropped back a bit, run over the grass, and that will allow Manuel to close up right behind him. And Manuel's going to have a look on the inside, the side against it.
Actually outbraking himself there and trying to go a little bit too deep. So was it maybe a hesitant call of, well, I'm not going to go for it, I'm going to rather back out of it. Now it's opened it up a little bit further behind. Dean Cabusta and Justin Lotus are clawing at each other, hoping to try and get by. They're both duking it out for that 8th and 9th position at the moment as they make their way around. Peter Oosthuizen now looking to go side by side with the likes of Gideon Reyna. Does it look like he's able to get by? Still side by side through turn 1. Gets pushed out wide. Gideon Reyna coming by, and Oosthuizen into the wall, losing out that little bit of drive.
Yeah, that rear end of that Audi just stepped up and he couldn't recover that. But that has put Manuel right on the back of Reyna. So Manuel is now definitely going to go for that 5th position as they come up to a whole bunch of M2 cars. So this is going to get very interesting very quickly.
Well, Nicholas Manuel hoping to just try his might at this point. Gideon Reyna having to just try and slug it out. Now into the M2s though. The Genisus Sim2Real cars are about to check their rearview mirrors big time for 5th and 6th, slugging their way through. Now this is where you kind of got to work with one another. The other battle that's going to start closing down is Dean Cabusta and Justin Lotus. They're going to get onto the back of this mess and try and figure out what they need to do to try and get a little bit more of a charge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say the guys are getting desperate yet. Still just under 8 minutes to go, but between Dean Cabusta